So you're driving around Tualatin, a rock flies up, and bam, that horrible cracking sound.
Ugh, the worst.
Yeah. And you probably have a number in your head, right? Maybe $200 for a new windshield.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the data we've got here from collision auto glass and calibration, that number seems a little out of date.
It really is. We're seeing this massive price range. It could be anything from $200 all the way up to $600.
And that's just for the glass itself.
Exactly. That's before you even get to the installation or, and this is the big one, the electronics.
Okay, so let's decode that spread.
Yeah.
A $400 gap for a piece of glass seems pretty aggressive. Is that just a luxury tax for having a nicer car?
Not exactly. I'd call it more of a complexity tax.
Yeah.
If you're driving an older basic sedan, sure, you're probably on that low end, that $200 mark. It's just a passive piece of glass.
But for newer cars?
For newer cars, that windshield is a structural component. It can have acoustic dampening, heating elements. That's what pushes the material cost up toward that $600 figure.
And that's just the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
The real sticker shock, it seems, comes from what's behind the glass, this smart car factor.
This is the biggest shift, absolutely. We're talking about 80s.
Advanced driver assistance systems.
Right. Your lane departure warnings, automatic emergency braking, even your rain sensors. The cameras for all those systems are physically mounted right on the windshield.
So when you swap the glass, you're basically giving the car's eyes a new pair of glasses.
That's the perfect analogy. And if that prescription is even a little bit off, the car can't see straight.
And it's not just about the glass being clean, it's about the geometry, the angle.
Exactly. A shift of even a fraction of a degree at 60 miles an hour down the highway means your car thinks the lane marker is in a completely different spot.
That sounds genuinely dangerous. And fixing it isn't just like hitting a reset button on the dashboard.
No. It requires a full recalibration. And Collision Auto Glass says this step alone adds anywhere from $100 to $300 to the bill.
And what does that actually involve?
A technician has to set up these physical targets at very precise distances or even take the car on a specific drive, all to reteach that camera its new position.
So your bargain $200 quote is suddenly a $600 or $700 job if you have these safety features.
And skipping the calibration is, well, it's not really an option. Not if you want your emergency braking to actually work.
This all connects to another big debate, right? OEM versus aftermarket glass.
Mm-hmm.
The source notes, OEM original equipment manufacturer costs about 20 to 40% more. Is that just branding?
There's a real functional difference. OEM means it's the exact same glass from the same manufacturer that your car was built with. The fit is perfect.
And with aftermarket glass, there's more variance, which sounds risky with all these sensors.
It can be. A slightly different thickness or a minor distortion in the glass could, interfere with how the camera focuses. That premium you pay for OEM is for certainty.
Certainty that everything will work as it's supposed to.
Exactly.
And it seems like the skill of the installer is just as critical. I mean, it's tempting to just find the cheapest shop in Tualatin.
You really don't want to do that. A windshield provides up to 45% of a car's structural integrity in a rollover. A bad install isn't just about leaks or wind noise.
The glass could actually pop out in a crash.
It could.
Yeah.
You want a certified installer who understands it's a safety device?
Which brings us to the convenience part. The source mentions Collision Auto Glass does mobile service in Tualatin, which must help.
It does. They come to you. But the real key, I think, is transparency. A good shop will explain why the cost is what it is. They'll break down the glass, the labor, and the essential calibration.
That seems to be the bottom line. If you're in the Tualatin area and need to run the numbers, the source says to contact them directly. You can call Collision Auto Glass and Calibration at 503-656-3500 or find them at collisionautoglass.com.
Getting a quote that explains everything is the most important step.
I think that's really the final thought to leave people with. When you get that quote that seems almost too good to be true, you have to ask yourself, am I saving money on the glass, or am I skipping the calibration that keeps my family safe?
That is a very expensive question to get wrong.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay safe out there.